The Richmond that you see today may at first glance seem different from 100 years ago, but today's city is very much rooted in our past. Richmond, bordered by the Fraser River and the Georgia Strait, has always been a watery place, made up of islands that shift with the currents and rainfall. Indigenous nations traveled along these waterways, harvesting berries and roots, hunting deer and beaver, fishing for salmon and sturgeon. These same watery routes were traveled by early settlers who saw challenges in what lay before them. While the land was already being used, settlers sought to make it theirs in the likeness of their homelands. A survey created a grid system which divided the land into equal squares to be sold, settled, and farmed. Like Indigenous nations before them, settlers used the waterways to travel between places, and because most of the land was so wet, colonial settlements were built on the few places that were dry enough for construction. Early settlers built dikes and ditches to drain the land, replacing the fishing and navigation sloughs that were used for many generations by diverse Indigenous nations. Once Richmond dried out, construction began. Workers, including Chinese laborers, most from the provinces of Guangdong and Fujian, built roads, rail, dikes, bridges, and tram lines. In Steveston, housing for workers was built close to the water, with the white managers' homes constructed farther inland. On November 10, 1879, Lulu Island and Sea Island were incorporated as the Township of Richmond. The first town hall was constructed along with stores. The Japanese Fishermen's Benevolent Society funded the first hospital in Richmond, which was open to everyone. Over the next few decades, Richmond continued to grow. In 1909, the Minaroo Racetrack became an early airfield, signaling a new era of growth. A major milestone would be reached with the opening of the Vancouver Airport in 1931. With the automobile and construction of the Oak Street Bridge and the George Massey Tunnel, Richmond's population grew and suburban neighborhoods sprung up seemingly overnight. Shopping malls soon followed, as well as Canada's first McDonald's. It wasn't until the 1960s that the building code was changed to allow for buildings higher than 3 stories. Richmond was on its way to becoming a global city. Starting in the 1970s, larger waves of immigrants from the Philippines, Taiwan, Vietnam, and India would settle in Richmond. In the late 80s, Hong Kong residents, uncertain about the transfer of Hong Kong from the UK to China, began to search for homes elsewhere. These transformations would make Richmond a destination. Today, Chinese immigrants comprise the largest groups of the new Richmond residents. This has ushered in a new era of urban growth in Richmond, with another milestone set by the 2009 completion of the Rapid Transit Canada line ahead of the 2010 Olympics. The Richmond that you see today may at first glance seem very different from 100 years ago, but today's city is very much rooted in our past. It continues to be an important place for Indigenous peoples who have maintained strong connections to the area. It is a garden city by nature that embraces and celebrates its diversity, welcomes newcomers, and plans for future generations.